ulti's going to pop off from Oracle. Hook back in from Andros. Going to be charging up that epicenter. No one's getting out of here. That's 3 going down. Disruptor, he was dewarding. Look at the damage. Oracle buys back. Sweet as honey, says the big boy bear, and they are going to just crush your high ground from this. What a massive fight.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Titans of Oceanic Dota, they've already played off in week 1. We've got some decisive winners, but this is week 2 of LPL Season 2 for 2020. You're joined by GTH and WanderingBard, and what a week to kick the season off.
Oh, absolutely, GTH. You couldn't have asked for a better opening to the season. Lots of really intense matches. Teams coming right out of the gates with no fuss and showing us what they're about. We have a hierarchy established where we've got some really strong top teams who are obvious contenders and obvious favorites, and then a pack of teams all chasing them who will be using the next couple of weeks to hopefully distinguish themselves as being within striking distance.
But before we begin, we should clarify, unfortunately, Sigma Legacy, they have been disqualified from this season of LPL as a result of poor player integrity and violating their agreed terms. And we'd like to remind the community that any behavior that would threaten or harm the competitive integrity and credibility of any of our leagues is unacceptable and will not be tolerated at LPL.
Yeah, obviously it's not something that we ever really want to have to do, disqualifying a team in the first week of the tournament, but it's important that rules be upheld and that the tournament be able to proceed with a minimum of fuss so to are in the running, have their best experience and their best chance at playing well. So now we're on to the last week's games. Day 2 has some interesting matchups featuring, like I said, probably our front runners for the tournament, Neat Uprising and Oracle.AU, both walking away with 2-0 victories.
And this is reflected in the leaderboard. It's pretty clear, but it is just week 1, to be fair here. Top of the leaderboard, FFYV2, Crossfire, Neat Uprising, Oracle.AU, all 2-0ing their games, but following suit. Eternal Discord, ToOnz, Reborn, AGN, just with a 2 loss, but this is what week 2 is about.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, after 1 week, their standings are nowhere near fixed, and even those teams that lost, it doesn't tell the story of what they're going to do this season. We hope to see them bounce back, and ToOnz Reborn are going to be the first team to have their chance at doing so, although they will have to contend with some fierce opposition after bouncing off Neat's Uprising, our defending champions. This week, they play against Oracle.AU, perhaps the strongest team in the competition, GTH.
They were insanely strong. Lose Yourself was just dominating with the combination of Zemistry. They seem to be a crazy combination for this season, but not to be outdone. ToOnz Reborn, they built a little bit of flair, a little bit of crazy drafting, which makes it exciting, but the teams, they're looking pretty stacked.
Yeah, like you said, some of the very, very best and most decorated players currently in the Australian team playing for this Oracle lineup. It's an all-star squad. We've got Lose Yourself, Zemistry, Calvin, Godot, and Lord Boons lining up for them tonight.
But
and over on the other side of the field,
not to be outdone on ToOnz Reborn, they've got some pretty strong players themselves. Moop, Gachi, Johto, EXPX, and Satanale to round out the squad. Still looking pretty serious. They do have a sub, but still 4 solid players from last week. More teamwork coming in, and maybe some more amazing drafting to come.
Yeah, as you mentioned, GTH, it looks like Satanale going to be their stand-in for this week. Good on them for finding a sub and stepping up to play. But it does lead me to worry a little bit. You're already up against one of the very strongest teams in the league in Oracle. And on top of that, ToOnz Reborn last week, if we had a critique of their play, it was that they were maybe a little bit lacking in the teamwork department. It kind of brought undone what was otherwise good play.
That is true. They seemed a little bit disconnected, but then again, sometimes you need to change a piece to find out something that works. So maybe Satanale is the thing that changes it to make the squad work out.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point. Even in the last seasons of LPL, we have seen teams sort of struggle in the first couple of weeks and then make either a player change or a role swap or something else that seems odd at first, but it really frees up certain players on the team who may have, play styles or things that weren't being properly realized before. So hopefully Satanale is that kind of enabler for the ToOnz Reborn squad, because they will have to improve on what they showed last week. If they, play a good game for 20 minutes, but then make some disastrous call to team fight when they don't need to, or their carry simply isn't buying the right items, their mid lane isn't ganking, they need to be on the same page, because any one mistake can and will cost you the game against opposition of this caliber.
And to be fair, they were pretty strong. Like, the players were extremely strong. So if they do work on all those things, they are going to be pretty hard to deal with. But still, then again, they are up against Oracle.AU. I don't think we could find any faults in it. If anything, they were just playing too crazy last week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they just seem to not quite have a consistent, coherent game plan. Like, their drafts were actually quite good. So I feel as though that is not necessarily the issue. It's just the execution and players understanding what their role is in the game. I think to call back to specifics, there was a mid-laner pick for ToOnz, which actually did really well out of the laning phase and looked like it was going to be the hero that made space on the map and that hunted the enemy core. But instead, the laner was hard farming with the rest of the team, which meant that they didn't really have a map presence. They kind of gave up too much space too quickly. And these are the kinds of small points where you as a team need to be communicating who's going to be the hard farmer, who's going to be the playmaker. You know, when you're team fighting, where are you taking your fights? What objectives do you deem worth defending? Don't let people make those decisions for themselves in the moment, because even though these players really have extraordinary instincts and can play their own game, it's vital that you be on the same page at every second, because otherwise you end up with, you know, individually correct decisions that otherwise clash.
Yeah, and speaking of being on the same page, Lose Yourself, who moved from the mid lane to play the safe lane carry, he did not feel any difference at all in the position change at all.
No, yeah, the Oracle boys are all so talented and so experienced that you know they experience significant advantages both in the draft and being able to pick up whatever heroes they think are necessary and be confident that someone on their team can play them, and also in terms of swapping around their lanes, as you said, and just presenting a really flexible lineup that's difficult to pin down and counter specifically. It forces teams to outplay them, but of course these are some of the best players we have around, so even that's a tough ask.
But it is going to be a tough ask, but we're always the exciting Dota team. I am excited to see how these players change, because really, I don't know how to beat Oracle.AU yet, but really, ToOnz Reborn, it's all surprises from them right now.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Are the best part of it.
I wouldn't be ruling out any team like 1 week into the tournament, so it's tough to say that Oracle aren't are guaranteed to win this or they're locked favorites, but you would say it'd be definitely in their favor. That being said, ToOnz don't necessarily need to beat them in order to come out well here. I think even a 1-1 draw in this situation for ToOnz would be considered a victory, because, yeah, okay, they're at the bottom of the standings right now, but you consider that their first loss was to Neats Uprising, who are probably on the level of Oracle, maybe the one team who are. So if you play the first 2 weeks as the two strongest opponents you'll face for the whole league, and you go 0-2 and 1-1, that's actually setting you up in a pretty good spot by the end of the season, because you assume that everyone else is going to take losses to those teams as well.
Oh, that's true. And if we remember last season, the two, I would say the top teams, Neat Uprising and Crossfire, coming into the grand finals, those teams, they never dropped any games except between them. So picking off games against these top tier teams are going to pay off massively going into these grand finals.
Yeah, not every game, not every win is equivalent. So this is a big one. Stakes are high, and we know that ToOnz Reborn will be looking for any opening at all. So their chances begin here in the drafting phase.
That's right. Straight on into it. We're not going to be breaking this action at all. Just trying to see the best picks. And it kind of seems to be the hardest thing when you are facing Oracle is, what do you ban? Last time they targeted, I believe, Lose Yourself. Then they targeted Kelvin. And neither of them worked out against Team Oracle. What do you want to ban when you're facing them?
I think against Team Oracle, I mean, it depends on your strategy and whether you're going to try and play a fair game of Dota against them on their terms, or whether you're going to try and do some sort of cheese draft. I know last week I recommended perhaps that some of the less confident teams should try some more fringe picks and see if they can just kind of wedge a game on the draft alone. But I don't think that counterpicking individual players is going to work out. Like we mentioned, massive hero pools on this Oracle side. They are going to easily flex around whatever you ban. So just get rid of the heroes you think are most powerful or most detrimental to your strategy.
And speaking of a fan favorite, at least in the banning stage, Lycan being taken out by Oracle, and actually Visage, who has been, I wouldn't say this is a solo ban. We've seen her banned previously last week.
Yeah, it's interesting, perhaps just a hero that Oracle themselves see as being particularly strong or capable of bringing them down. It's not as cemented a ban in this meta as the Lycan, who obviously has been just the scourge of this patch. But both bans on a similar theme, right? They don't want to get cheese pushed.
Oh, no. You don't want all your towers to go down before the 10-minute mark, before you get your first item, and then you got the entire team running into your base, and Team Oracle, they're happy to do it, but ToOnz Reborn, that's a pretty cheesy strat if you get it done, but it is already taken out. And speaking of being taken out, Kelvin's Timbersaw, it's gone from the pool.
Yeah, Timbersaw is a really brutal hero. We saw, I think, last week how potent it is. Picked late in the draft. It's just sort of, it's close to being a cheese hero in and of itself. And for those who maybe aren't as familiar, when I say cheese hero, there's a certain class of hero in Dota whose capabilities are so far outside the expected norm of the rest of the hero cast that picking them in the right situation can kind of just end the game, right? They need very specific counter strategies and capabilities to be in place, and when you pick them late in the draft, the opponent doesn't always have time to react. We're talking heroes like Broodmother, heroes like Meepo, like Huskar, and Timbersaw. If you pick him against a team that has very few stuns and maybe lacks magical damage or percent health damage, he can just be unkillable in the mid game and completely run teams over.
Which we kind of saw last week. He was unkillable in that game and ran the team over. So good way to get the bans out, but the other bans, that's still a little bit more interesting. We've got Quap, which seems to be it's a favorite in Australia, but Lone Druid also coming up to be quite popular as well.
Yeah, I think we are just seeing a fairly standard banning phase here. Teams are removing the heroes mostly based on just their individual strengths. Quap obviously has a ton of good laning matchups, and Lone Druid as well. These are heroes who are very strong on the patch and can kind of take over a game if you lose lane to them. Like I said, if you give up mid to a Lone Druid, you might be Team Oracle, the best team in the land, but that Lone Druid's momentum might just run you over regardless of what you try to do in your other lanes. So why take that risk, or why take the risk of the clock doing the same?
Oracle. Oh
no!
Oracle
Okay,
did not
they changed
first pick
it up.
Oracle. They broke the trend.
Yeah, we speculated that maybe they had some sort of pact going on, right, where they would just pick Oracle every game, but certainly you are very happy to see Nature's Prophet picked out, mostly a 5-position support in this patch, and Lord Boons, who has been playing that role, a noted Nature's Prophet fan.
Oh man, you don't put a hand, and then again, even if you don't really want to run in 5, you can just run it in 3. We've seen actually some mid NPs and some position 1 NPs. This man's flexible as hell.
Yeah, I mean, the hero is Nature's Prophet as a bit of a pun. Its strength is that it generates so much gold income and so much map presence, right? The hero is kind of a tabula rasa, and its capabilities are determined by what items you buy. So, if you want to play it as a support, you can buy a mechanism and be a walking medic. If you want to play it mid, you can just build a ton of damage items. You can build a Necrobook for fast push. So it's up to Oracle to decide what they want to do with this hero. Much more committed picks coming out from ToOnz.
Yeah, the Grimstroke and the Slardon. Grimstroke's been quite popular, but Slardon, he's a little bit new, but the man comes with a stun, and if you stack with an Inkswell, that sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee that these two are laning together, but boy, what a strong off lane that might be. Even your safe lane, Slardon can definitely be a core if your lineup is playing around a fast timing, and certainly I think going early might be one of the preferred ways to take on Oracle. Just gives them less chance to outplay you on the map in the mid to late game.
Oh, we'll have to think about our decisions if we're Oracle here. Going straight into our reserve time, the Prophet doesn't exactly show much yet, but if you see the Slardon and the Grimstroke, what are you thinking? Well, actually, is an Ember a good pick against that?
I would say so. I think the main thing you want to avoid against Slardon is like heroes who lose hard to him in laning phase. Like Slardon in the mid game can certainly beat up on heroes and be quite a powerful playmaking force, but it's hard to think of a hero who doesn't do poorly when they have their armor reduced and get blink stunned out of nowhere, right? So Ember Spirit, sure, you're vulnerable, you're kind of a low health hero. If you get blink initiated on by Slardon, you're in trouble, but you do have multiple instant speed ways to react to that, and if you see Slardon trying to run around in the fight, chaining him down really hurts his ability to apply the control that you expect out of the hero.
Well, speaking of bans, Ricky is going to be taken out pretty quick. Surprise! Oh, I guess they do have a Slardon on their side, so they can't be Corrosive Haze. The Underlord going to be taking a dive on the other side. A nice little offlane to get out of the pool, but the Viper, a very early pick without the passive. What are you seeing the reason for this here?
I mean, I think that Ember Spirit is very likely to be the mid lane, and that if he's not, it's probably the Prophet, right? So look, Oracle could still change things up easily. This could be a safe lane Ember and a support Prophet and something else mid, but Viper is a pretty safe laning pick either way. So you feel confident taking it now, and if this is the matchup that they like against the Ember Spirit, who has been such a strong laning force this patch, then it makes sense to pick it now and save your carry pick for later instead.
And I don't think many heroes really beat Viper in the lane anyway, so it's just really that big, tanky, scary hero that you hate to lane against, and he doesn't care about who he lanes against either, so just pick it. It's pretty comfortable for most things.
It's also worth noting that now they have 2 fairly decent combinations with Grimstroke, even by pick 3, but Keeper of the Light coming out for Oracle.
Hell yeah. That's a hero you love to see. Extra mana, actually, the Shearing Change combination, that still works, right?
Yes, no, that has not been nerfed at all. Keeper of the Light and Ember Spirit are very, very powerful combination, given the recent-ish changes to Coddle. Their Chakra magic has been reworked, but at present time, it both restores mana and resets non-ultimate cooldowns by, 6 seconds or so. I think it might scale up, but the point is that Ember Spirit's cooldowns on his Searing Chains and Sleight of Fist is so low that you can apply them and then get Chakra'd and then apply them again, which amounts to a double AoE nuke in 4 seconds of ranged root, which is very, very, very good.
That's scary. But
yeah, it also it also resets the cooldown on your ultimate charges, which can be really critical given that the Ags on Ember is so strong at the moment.
Oh man, and that just slipped on through. So really, Team Oracle, a nice save pick there. It's not even the Oracle, it's just something else. Full lured boons here, so Prophet, not exactly a solid 5 right now anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was on the same page where maybe the Prophet isn't a support at this point. I think maybe they can go for an offlane Prophet. I think you do want the Ember Spirit mid if you're playing with the Coddle combination. It's just you empower the Ember Spirit so much that you really want to make sure that he is the focal point of the lineup. He's as high level as possible by the time you start taking those early fights and try and snowball off that combo. But you don't want to have Coddle and Nature's Prophet as supports against a Clinks.
Yeah, you got Corrosive Haze to amp up that damage, and Coddle has basically no HP. It's looking like he's just food on a horse.
Yeah, it's going to be down to positioning and maybe some deft use of Blinding Light. So you've got very, very squishy heroes on the side of Oracle and very, very powerful damage dealers, as well as sort of implacable, more tanky heroes on the ToOnz Reborn side. It's shaping up to be an interesting kind of draft. Definitely on ToOnz to push early and often with these heroes, though.
Oh, yeah. But then again, you do have the 4th pick here. Is there anything that just jumps out of you that really shuts down what they're trying to do here?
Not particularly. And if you can find an offlaner that can isolate the Slardar, that can bully him, maybe that's the play. Maybe you can go something like an Abaddon. But it depends what position you're looking for. I think maybe this is going to be offlane Prophet, which means you could still be looking for a safe lane hero. You could even run something tanky and unusual in the safe lane. I don't know if they want to go like Core Axe and put that in one of the side lanes, perhaps, to control the Clinks.
Well, yeah, good core damage as well. I mean, you can... I mean, I'm liking the Abaddon pick when he's mentioned. It's just, it purges off most of the things they want to do. So maybe, well, don't worry about me. Earthshaker is going to be a pick, so team fight. But in my history, against a Viper with Nevertoxin, Earthshaker has a pretty sad life.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how often you're standing in the Nevertoxin, right? I expect that they're not going to lane against each other, and then in theory, your Earthshaker shouldn't really be hanging out there, especially once Viper... Viper will eventually have that silence talent, but I think that if the game goes that long, Oracle may have the upper hand regardless of that matchup. So I don't mind this Earthshaker pick. It's what I wanted. It's a strength core that can initiate at range. They're going to get that farmed up and get that Blink Dagger online, which will be very important for disrupting the charge of this ToOnz Reborn lineup. You can see they're all just going to be surging in with these kind of tanky, aggressive heroes, and knowing that if they can just get to grips with the Oracle lineup, then they're probably going to win the fight. So Earthshaker, an important kiting tool before they go for their last pick.
And ToOnz getting rid of the cheese, so no final brood picks coming in, but then again, there is still the Meepo on the board. I don't think it's the greatest Meepo game. I know Luke yourself does love to play it, but what are we missing here that synergizes this draft together? You've got the team fight, you've got the carry, but what is going to be Zen Mystery's hero? At least that's what I'm assuming.
I mean, I would say Underlord. The Underlord ban from ToOnz Reborn really, really smart, because you consider this run at you lineup. Any hero with that much space control, you've already got the Coddle, would be massive. I actually feel like Phoenix could work out. there is a strong silence in the Grimstroke and a couple of ranged heroes, but they are very reliant on auto attacks for damage at the moment, and they do have like a committed melee hero in Slaughter. You've got the Coddle Light Bulb, the ultimate Will-o'-the-Wisp, which is a dreadful combination with the Phoenix Egg for the other team, that is. And so if you're fighting around that, it makes it so hard for that early push to work out. You use Egg behind the tower. It's very dangerous to dive on. They go for a bit of a variation on that, though. Another team fighting ultimate in Black Hole.
Oh, hello.
Whoa!
Pudge. Nailed it. There you go. Could you call that one the Pudge final pick from ToOnz Reborn to seal it all together? Well, you get the bright side of picking which of these teams is going to win. Does the Pudge change your mind? Do you think it's going to be able to get those kills? It does have the ability to cancel Black Hole, I guess.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying that it's necessarily an awful Pudge game. I respect the hero, but I don't think it has any special use against these picks that I'm in love with. So I'm going to go with Team Oracle for this time.
Well, I'm going to take ToOnz. I'm taking ToOnz. I think Sentinel, with his Pudge, it's a green Pudge. It's a goddamn green Pudge. Like, this man's played Pudge so much, it got green.
That's true. That's true. It is a very blinged out Pudge set for sure, all the bells and whistles. But I think that it's a distraction. The real emphasis here is going to be on the Clinks and to a lesser degree the Slaughter, right? Like, Pudge and Viper are such consistent heroes. They're going to pretty much volunteer the same benefits to your team regardless. The Pudge is going to try and disrupt the Earthshaker and the Coddle, who want to be sitting back in the back line. It's going to provide a valuable disable for the Ember Spirit, maybe cancel a Black Hole with a hook. But the thing is, like, is your Clinks going to get farm and snowball with the kills? Death Pact is such a sink or swim skill at the moment, whether you get those rolling damage buffs or not. And Slaughter, if you can come out of the lane strongly with a Blink Dagger +1 item, then they will be in a position to take the game up to Oracle, because otherwise I don't think they can really afford to wait to get farm on these heroes.
It happened again. One person stayed alive, 4 died, but this is the first game of the best of 2 between Team Oracle and ToOnz Reborn in LPL Season 2 2020. So we're going to kick this week off with a good one, but always we'd like to thank our sponsors for bringing us these games to self-conquer. Our fantastic monitor partner with this season of LPL, bringing high-quality hardware to our screens, bringing gamers the best screens in the market. We'd like to thank them for sponsoring this season of LPL.
Absolutely. And with these sponsors behind us, we're sure that this season is going to continue onwards successfully, as Oracle hope to here. They're lining up now in the lanes, and I'm really interested to see already 3 heroes moving towards top, but Clinks on the bottom side of the map alone. Is this maybe a safe lane Clinks and not a mid?
Yeah, it seems like they are sending the Punch mid. So that's surprising. We'll see how that plays off. But yeah, at least Clinks by him. He's going to find 3 hero sets, so they're going to be scouting this out. Lord Bones Hales, they're going to be hanging up in the top room to defend it, but the surprise might be the Viper who comes out of nowhere.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, there's a very strong level 1 team fight available for ToOnz Reborn, so they are hoping that there's a squabble at this rune and that they can maybe pick up a kill on top of the bounties.
Well, we'll see what happens. It seems pretty strong. Good position from Sentinel, just hiding behind trees, pretending to be trees. He's half green anyway, so it's really hard to see in between that, even if Dye is more brown than you want. But there's a ward there. It's actually giving good sign for both Ward Boons and Lose Yourself. But Lose Yourself, he's sneaking the room. But the hook, it's good. It finds Boons. They hide him in the tree. He does get a little wave of the binding light, but this man is looking pretty dead unless he can just run away. He's out of here. No first blood for ToOnz to kick it off. Oh man, Lose Yourself is actually going to steal the rune behind him. So these guys, they're going to end up with 1.
That's a bit unfortunate. You hit the big hook. That's such a great start for your stand-in as well. Set a nail on the Pudge, but no dice, and they actually end up losing gold overall. And pride.
It's the thing about Blinding Light. It just surprises you how much it does. It cuts down all the trees, it pushed everyone away, and he just walked away from one big commitment. And now you have Hook in the lane, and actually it is going to be a mid Pudge going up against Zemistry on the mid NP.
Yeah, this is a really interesting decision. I like the idea of playing Pudge on your stand-in player because the hero is kind of a force unto itself, right? If you're a good Pudge player, you're kind of just playing your own game. It's not as big on coordination with the rest of the team, but going mid with it, I have not seen in a competitive match in quite a while.
Not since the changes, but we'll see if it changes the luck of ToOnz Reborn in this game. But every other lane seems to be a little bit standard. Lord Boon's trying to pull the wave while, you know, Lose Yourself is going to be farming. It looks like Viper and Slider, not a combination that you're used to seeing. They're just trying to hit Lose Yourself as soon as he comes to the creeps. In the bottom lane, it's an Enigma and an Earthshaker. They block the lane, they kill the range creep, and now it's just a Clinks farming under his tower.
Yep, so that looks pretty good for ToOnz Reborn, and I do like this top lane. As you mentioned, it's pretty... Oh.
Can't say Lose Yourself getting a little bit of pressure. It's all good. He's not dead yet, but he really does have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I was about to say. I think the reason why we're seeing this Pudge mid isn't so much that that was their plan all along, but they've realized that Oracle are going to try and dodge the Viper Ember matchup and putting this Ember Spirit in the safe lane for Lose Yourself, and they just, without any fuss at all, move the Viper up there. They're like, all right, we'll dual lane our Viper, and we'll still punish your carry.
Does it hurt the Viper too much if he doesn't get solo XP?
I think it hurts Clinks more, almost. Like, Viper is very strong regardless.
Bottom lane, he's being chased. He's got the Eidolon creeps damage. One more right click isn't gonna be enough. He's good to survive. No first blood yet. We're holding it on. Blinding Light saves one person. Not enough Eidolon saves the other, but actually top lane, Lose Yourself. He's getting pressure, and the poison attack's gonna be dodged a little bit with the Slider Fist, so he's fine. Everyone so close to the edge, but no one's given an inch.
Yeah, these engagements are so tense. A lot can be decided in the current patch based on laning alone as Clinks' courier goes down, unfortunately. Good job, Godo, hunting that out and getting the kill.
That's the box coming out from Godot, just keeping this Clinks back. They are pressuring up the Clinks a little bit, but he is getting 11 last hits, so it's not being shut down completely. Every single lane actually seems to be doing fine, except for the Viper. Oh no, okay, it's support Viper. One thing I didn't think about, it's core Slider, support Viper.
Yeah, fair enough, I suppose. Like, you can still cast the Nether Toxin, you can still apply the slows from the poison. Viper as a core is more about that mid snowball anyway, the dominance that you establish early. So if you don't have that, you may as well relegate it to support. Slider definitely needs levels and items more. Get that Blink Dagger online ASAP and get control up in the team fights.
This actually seems to be one of the features of ToOnz Reborn. They were the team that picked up the support Troll last week, and now they're going with the support Viper.
I would like to say for the record that the support Viper makes way more sense. It is a far more respectable pick. Support Troll,
It was just a bad
jury's
game.
still out on that.
It's great. I think it's great. I think it's going to come in the next meta. He just needs a little bit of buff, and he should be good. Top tier support.
Right, well, at the moment it must be said that even though the support Viper pick is working out a bit better than the support Troll would have, the Oracle cores are all still ahead on money. They're cleanly leading on the gold in every position. Only enough to get a 1k lead at the moment, but it is a worrying sign early on. Especially, we don't see the XP, but with Enigma, right, you're denying the range creep out of nearly every wave. This Clinks must not be having a good time.
X-Spell's coming, damage adding up, but can Kelvin do it? Joto needs a right click, a couple more will do it, and they've got a first blood. It is ToOnz Reborn. They are on the board picking up that gold, and that's a fantastic start for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Very right of them to punish the solo Enigma. They realized that the Earthshaker stepped out of lane for a moment, and you have to take advantage of that. That'll help offset the XP loss from the Nice.
Looks like Coddle's being caught, going to be broken down, but they need an extra bash. Going to get it changed. Going to hold him back fair enough, and in fact, it's going to be a double in the end. Can Slider Fist save him? No! He's got a bash charge up and charge straight into Lose Yourself space, man. He's sent all the way back to base, and that's a double kill. We're up to 3 already.
Yeah, wow, that's some massive stuff. ToOnz Reborn, their lane's really working out.
Oh, one way though, maybe we put another on the board. Inkspell's gonna actually save the Grimstroke for now, but he is still getting stunned up a little bit, and Godot's waiting on the other side with a bash on down, and a couple more Eidolon creeps. No, the Fairy Fire saves him. He's good again. These plays coming out from ToOnz Reborn. Not getting any kills back to you, and Clinks getting some space and maybe get a few runes, but this is a much more stable performance coming out from ToOnz Reborn here.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is what they needed to have happen, although it looks like Oracle are aggressive in the top lane.
It's an NP, and he's gone.
Yeah, that's the X factor in the laning phase for Oracle. The ToOnz Reborn lanes are stronger in a static scenario, just their heroes are better on paper, but that Oracle Prophet teleporting around to different lanes can easily turn any fight, so they have to watch out.
It's one of the benefits of having him. In fact, Godot's having a benefit right now. He's getting some free XP in there. Mid-Punch himself is level 6. How early do you think this man's going to rotate?
I mean, he has to rotate well, right? Look, I won't blame him if he sits in the lane a bit longer, right? Because Pudge is one of those heroes like Tidehunter where, again, you sort of have this great farming capacity, but usually only in the early game when the lanes are static. You don't have the flash farming or the mobility to safely push outside lanes later on in the game if your team's behind. So it's worth taking advantage of the time now to make sure you get your core items up so that you continue to scale as a core later in the game instead of having your mid kind of fall off and be a third support. That being said, he will need to rotate at some point.
That's true. He is feeling a little bit light on the net worth. In fact, Oracle, they've taken the top 3, but they are followed closely by ToOnz Reborn. It's only 1k difference between these teams here. It's 6 minutes in. We've got the runes here. The lanes aren't falling apart. Everything seems fine. In fact, we're going to be getting the smoke rotation that we wanted. Grimstroke Pudge going up against Kelvin's Enigma. He doesn't seem to be reacting too much. There's no surprise. Pudge isn't showing, and Kelvin, he's still sitting in the lanes, denying the creep, but we need to land a hook, and the safety of the tower will be Enigma's. We're good, at least for now.
Still looking for the hook play, and he's going to walk in.
He gets it. That's why they picked it to him, man. Perfect hook. Finds him. He's level 60. Could black hole, but he ain't going to do that. He's going to feed Punch his first kill and his first flesh heap stacks.
Yeah, really impressive patience there from the ToOnz Reborn side. They could have tried to force things. You could see Jodo positioning on the Grimstroke. He considered throwing out the Stroke of Fate, which would have slowed the Enigma and maybe set up the hook, but instead they're just patient. They changed the hook angle to one that he wasn't expecting, and that's how you get the kill.
And
so the team's doing stacks as well now.
Yeah, I was about to say, support Viper just needs to stacks. In fact, Slider's fine top lane. He's getting pressured out a little bit, but he's got a little bit of regen. He bashes Ember every single time he comes in, and the creep wave, it's still pushing into his tower, so it's not too bad overall.
Yeah, Oracle still holding onto that gold lead. There's mad stacks being done in the jungle. Nature's Prophet, of course, uses the map extremely effectively thanks to that teleport and the ability to summon treants to farm neutral camps or push out waves. The Cuddle's been stacking as well. Lord Boon's hard at work on the economy side of things for them. But they are not really pulling away from ToOnz because the lanes are going so well for them. So, pretty even match.
Like action's coming on up, though. Prophet held back. He was about to TP on the Slider, did not happen. Slider's a little bit tankier than they thought, but go behind the tier 2 tower probably isn't the smartest idea 8 minutes in.
Yeah, the action on the bottom lane, the Inkswell.
Nice Inkswell, nice damage, even put the army up, and Enigma's running for the trees, but it will not save him. Another kill on Kelvin, shutting down this Enigma again. I'm really liking these moves from ToOnz Reborn, actually getting the pressure on and getting those charges for cleats.
Yeah, like we said, they played really well last week, and it seems like they've got a game plan together this time, although...
Top lane though, Fissure block actually going for Slider. They're going to be breaking the Ember. He's taking a whole bunch of damage here, and that moves. He's out of mana, will be blinding like the safety. They don't get a kill. Absolutely nothing, and a massive commitment for it. That was 3 people there, and they got absolutely no heroes. No gold.
And GTH, that's their main combination. This is the heart of the Oracle draft, the Cuddle Ember combination, but being put in the safe lane means the Ember is limited, and he had to struggle against the Viper Slider lane, a very tough lane, and tough targets to kill as well. He's not able to snowball out of the laning phase like I think they wanted him to.
Let's pick the snowball, MP's going to get the snowball going by pushing some towers. TP's bottom helps out with Enigma. Their pushing is pretty insane still.
Yeah, and it must be noted, there's not the greatest creep clear either from the ToOnz Reborn side. It's going to be a lot on Moops' Viper, perhaps.
He's almost dead there. It was so close, but he's good. He knows what he's doing.
He actually does die.
Oh, okay, I take that back. Oh, damn it, what the hell? Oops. That shouldn't hurt too much. He's a support Viper.
Yeah, my supports died in neutrals all the time. Okay, hang on. Pud?
Yeah, they're running full goat hold with a smash in the face, gives Punch an extra charge. Maybe they can chase down some more. No, they're happy to take some pickoffs. They don't seem to be pressured with their timings too much. They're not forcing anything. They seem to be reacting to what Oracle is doing.
Well, I mean, they just don't have their core items up yet, right? And these heroes are vulnerable out on the map. If they invade the Oracle jungle, that's sure you can contest their stacks, but that's when you really play into the hands of Coddle and Prophet, and even Enigma. Like, if Enigma's able to teleport on a fight and black hole, that would be disastrous. But if they stand to their own towers, it's very difficult for Oracle to make use of their team fighting heroes, and the sort of tanky, strong heroes of ToOnz Reborn can continue to farm up, get this Blink Dagger on Slider before you do anything, get Clinks' item.
Chasing down for Clinton, just with Prophet and some dust and a little bit of Fissure, you cracked a skeleton. He's broken. What the hell? That's a hell of a lot of damage. NP is insane right now.
Yeah, the Nature's Prophet ultimate not only buffing NP's attack, but also, of course, a global nuke in the vein of Zeus ultimate or some other spells. So Zemistry really holding the laning phase together as Team Oracle needed him to, the mid laner. Pudge obviously rotating as well, so both mids having an impact, but that kill on the Clinks must really suck for ToOnz Reborn. That's the hero they're hoping to scale the hardest, and he's already dealing with limited XP from being in the safe lane against Enigma.
Hooks are missing, but Sentinel is coming in, but he finds himself Godo on the other side, so he's got to run on back, so no kills for Pudge. The big fat man's got to run on back to hit down the river, but Zemistry still top net worth. That gold lead, they were talking about being very close before. It's now gone to 3 games between them. It's not been too pressured. They haven't had most of the kills. In fact, the pickoffs they've had were, you know, few and far between, just Clinks before, but who needs to pressure their timings here? Who's more scared? Do you think the Pudge is going to fall faster than the MP would, or are they still fine to do what they're doing?
I'm a little worried at the amount of farm Saturnail is, or rather isn't getting. You can see he's already down to 4th net worth on the team, and perhaps ToOnz just wanted to give the Pudge the mid lane so that Saturnail could start playing his game, and now he's going to sort of transition to support. As you can see, Viper scaling up, who you call to support Viper, almost taking the core role from the Pudge.
Oh, I'm the carry now. That good old pub mentality always goes well.
I mean, if you sort it out amongst your team first, sure. But I think this team, it's definitely on ToOnz Reborn to be aggressive, although, look, ASPX, he is playing aggressive when he can afford to against Lose Yourself. They just need to get items.
That is true. The items are coming. Lose Yourself is getting the Maelstrom, so a nice little farming item. A little bit of extra damage from him. He's feeling a little bit safe on his own. What are you thinking that Enigma's going? Are we going auras, or are we going initiation? You want to see a Blink Dagger?
I want to see a mech. I don't think the Blink Dagger... You've got too many heroes, like the range silence from the Grimstroke. The Grimstroke is very able to sit outside of your Black Hole range and cancel it after a second or two. Clinks is probably going to go an Orchid. You could always get hooked. Much more reliable. With this team going to run at you, you're probably going to get a Black Hole off at some point in the fight anyway. Just have a mechanism to get people alive as they run in.
It's a half a Black Hole in the light Will-O-Wisp. Finding the Pudge, bringing in Zemistry, and you get the kill on Saturnail. That's a very big kill, and that man's meant to be killing you. So this Pudge is actually feeling a little bit behind at this point.
Yeah, I think we need to maybe start looking at Saturnail as being more of a support here. He's not concentrating on trying to farm up like we've seen Pudges played in the past. He's roaming around, and so his death down the bottom isn't that impactful. They've already lost that tower, and there are heroes farming on the top side.
Top lane looks like they want to try and lose yourself. They're bringing in Moops, the counter pressure that wave in, but Godot, he's happy to farm up his Blink Dagger, but Clinks, Viper, Slana, a pretty serious combination, but what are they going to find? Will Lose Yourself die in the top lane here? Godot definitely going to get that Blink Dagger, but the pressure's coming in. Inkspell's going to find it, but it absolutely finds no embers. He just remnants away, so there's your 4-man rotation. Ends up with absolutely nothing. Clink's going to get no charge out from that move. He probably would have been better off just farming the entire time.
Yeah, this is a really costly commitment. Obviously, they can now farm the Dire jungle as the Dire are farming theirs, but their tier 2 is being pressured by this Enigma and Prophet. And look, they might be fighting mid.
Oh, going straight on mid. Looks like Punch going to get the pressure on. They're going to try and keep the people away, but Lose Yourself has found himself. Grimstroke. Inkspell's going to come, but is it going to keep him alive? Actually, it is until Lose Yourself commits again. There's a chance coming back. It's your chakra combination, but Clinks waiting on the high ground. How many Rams do you have left? How much money do you have left? You're broken. The army's coming down, but Lose Yourself is dodging it. They're going to be losing the slider in the back, just being chased on down, but moves. He's trying to join the fight if he can. Kelvin still holding that Black Hole, keeping that pressure on. Zemistry can go back to base, and that's the fight. You get 2 kills, you get nothing on the back. I guess you save your tier 1 tower out of it.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah, you give up a support and your 3 position, so not the worst fight when, as you said, you temporarily at least defend this tier 1. We'll say it might go down here, though.
Ooh, big hooks. He gets it, but is that what you want to hook? He's got no mana, but he's got the kill. Sentinel takes it down, gets charged, but then Luke Yourself comes in. Inkspell ain't going to mean much when you change together, so you can't run anyway. So Grimstroke, he's going to try to get the safety of tier 2 towers, but you just got those 3 down, then you're going to get yourself a double. Thanks for the charge.
Yeah, a little bit awkward. Perhaps Grimstroke needed to Inkswell himself there. The Pudge simply too weak, and by dying, cancels out the stun, which would have been the only thing that could save you from the Ember play. Still a good kill to get on the ES, like disrupting his farm and his scaling as much as possible is good. I don't think Godot was able to buy the Blink Dagger before that. Oh.
No, he unfortunately wasn't yet, but I'm sure he'll be able to pick it up after a couple creeps. It's still feeling pretty comfortable. I mean, the Orchid is about to come for Clinks. It's not completely terrible, but it was, what, a 4k gold lead a couple minutes ago. It's jumped to 9k. They lost both outposts. They lost all the runes. It's kind of starting to snowball at this point.
Yeah, and it's worrying that a lot of the kills are going on to Zemistry and Lose Yourself as well. Like, these are the heroes that you're afraid of scaling, and they are now getting a lead on your cores, as you said, you know, Lose Yourself mopping up more kills, very adept at playing this Ember, and that Chakra combo already starting to make an impact in the fights. You saw it pretty much responsible for those kills that happened mid.
Pretty much. Grimshot got away from one of them, and then there was an instant number one, so oh god. It's hard to deal with it, and really, it seemed like they have a lack of Ember control in their draft just coming out here.
Yeah, they're relying on this Blink Dagger from the Slider, which hasn't made itself apparent.
Things will come and Slugfest going, but they will be going their separate ways. A little bit of respect from Lose Yourself here. Not going too crazy, but okay, we just walks back in. That's cool too. He's still looking for kills. This man will never stop.
Never. It's that mid lane mentality. But I think what we saw top was kind of instructive, right? The Inkswell and the Clinks, it's actually a really good tool for handling the Ember. If you time it right, there's almost no warning that the invisible hero is going to land and stun you. But oh my god, they found the Clinks.
He made it.
Okay.
He's good. No cancel on that.
Now he has his own Orchid. So that's control for the Ember. They finally have online. A little bit slow. You know, that's what you get for safe laning against Enigma, right? You get less golden XP just by default.
And Clinks ain't the fastest farming hero in the world. He's just hit one creep at a time, and usually he does like to hit hero, so it just seems to be a bit of a slow game for Clinks, but still, is that fine? Can he make this work at 16 minutes, considering it is a 10k gold lead?
It's not game losing. Unfortunately, he does. Oh, they're going for a fight. This is bad.
Massive. This whole blind is good on backside too. It's going to start something. They're going to run back, but can they get any black holes up? No, it's just going to be loose up going on and getting these kills. Moose is dead. Punch is running. Sentinel going to try to get between trees, but he's too fat to fit on in, and it's going to be another. But Zemistry gets taken down in the back lines. Moose is coming to buyback. It's coming up to Sentinel, but the black hole is good. Enigma is just surviving, but the Echo Slam will finish them off. 4 dead, 5 dead. The buyback coming out from Punch to come back to do what? Bury his teammates? I don't know. He can't do much anymore, so the buyback, a little bit wasted. You did get 2 kills, but that's 11k gold victory. That's a team wipe. That's control, and Lose Yourself, he's absolutely fine. That's brutal. Punch now just running out in the lane. Lord Burns is chilling in the mid. Maybe didn't expect this aggressive movement, but... Oh boy. There's a blink done too, so he's going to go. He's going to run. Okay. Invis rune to save today. We are good. We don't have any sentries, I hope, on Coddle. We good. Yeah. He's big fat, but you can't see. Oh, there's a sentry there. Dust! They've got it! Oh no, the chains! Zemistry even comes into a breath. He's brought Dust just in case, but nah, that's a die back on the Punch. 58 seconds and he's away. Oh man, ToOnz Reborn, they're just falling apart at this point.
Yeah, the last fight, really worrying stuff for ToOnz. Obviously, their heroes are theoretically stronger in terms of being able to run at and engage the enemy, but now they're positional disadvantage running into Black Hole and Will-O-Wisp as they go on the Enigma.
Okay, maybe go Scepter. It's good, and now we just go straight for the Viper. Oops, the Ancient Creeps are helping out. They're helping him at this point, isn't it? Oh, everything is just stacking up on ToOnz Reborn here. Do you see a path back into this game here?
It's a kill like that if it works, right? Like, the Oracle lineup is definitely team fighting oriented, and the items they've invested in, like they've bought 2 or 3 blink daggers. That's a lot of gold that's not giving Oracle actual stats. It's more about finding their team fight on their terms. So if you can still initiate, take a pick off, maybe with the Clinks running in or the Pudge hitting a hook, you are still within striking distance of killing these heroes, and you'll get a lot of gold for it, get that Clinks damage snowball rolling. So I think that's their way back in. But of course, that's not considering the skill of Oracle and the discipline of Oracle. They might not be the kind of team that gives you that path back into the game.
That is right. Good communication makes a good team. And I guess while we've got a little bit of downtime, we'd like to thank another sponsor for this season, Vodafone, supporting Season 2 of LPL 2020. A fantastic sponsor to have, and we thank them every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're seeing a smoke out of the Radiant, so ToOnz Reborn, I think, realizing that it's their onus to take the team fight on their terms, and they cannot allow another multi-ultimate fight to come out of the Oracle with the Blink Black Hole, Blink Echo.
Atos ain't gonna do much. He's got a fifth dodge. Will-O-Wisp is gonna keep everybody in position. They can run or they can fight. Kelvin charging. Army being put down. Slider's been called the excellent, a little bit off mark, but it does hit the Slider, so you get 1. But Zemistry gets a double anyway, making triple. Clinks is gone, and Moose is trapped between the trees. So they can hit it from the outside. They can try and break down the Ember, but they're just breaking down ToOnz Reborn. The buyback. Oh, it ain't coming. Joker just saying that. GG is going to be called. Rampage to finish it off, but Team Oracle, they're taking game 1 of this best of 2.
Wow, so even after all of that effort, it's a 20-minute Oracle win. Granted, that was a GG out, so they didn't have to take time destroying the base, but it was clearly over. Those last 2 team fights, brutal victories.
Absolutely brutal, but look, we should give credit. ToOnz Reborn, the first 10 minutes of the game, that was a pretty good performance. The landing stage was well, they were cohesive. It just seemed to be that transition to mid-game that they don't exactly know how to do yet.
Yeah, and look, we'll give them some credit. They are playing with a stand-in. The stand-in was playing a mid-pudge. They kind of tried to do an interesting switch-up, which I think isn't a bad idea, with, you know, getting the pudge the levels in the mid lane and then trying to have him roam while the Viper farm stacks and caught up in the jungle to be more of a core position hero. But in the end, they just have a little bit of lacking efficiency compared to Oracle. That's that sort of trickling gold lead that you saw start to accrue on the Oracle side, even when the lanes seemed to even or ToOnz favored. And that comes into play in the team fights as they have their items up first. Also, just, you know, some key factors about knowing when to take those fights and being able to make sure their heroes are in the position with the items they needed, whereas the Clinch, you know, didn't quite have that Orchid ready on time. And that ends up sort of snowballing against you.
That seems to be it, but Oracle, from last week, it wasn't just, you know, a 1 week surprise that Oracle were dominating. This team is still looking pretty legit in week 2.
Yeah, exactly. But ToOnz aren't done. They do have another shot. This is a best of 2, so they'll get a chance to take down Oracle in the next game. What do you reckon? Do you have a shot?
I think, if anything, they've had some good pieces, but we'll see how they can put it together in game 2 coming up after this short break. And we are back after that blistering performance from Team Oracle, but ToOnz Reborn, they're looking for a little bit of revengeance, a little bit of take back as we go game 2 for them. They were showing a little bit of signs there, even with a new player, surprising drafting, which is what we know about them. So what are you thinking they need to change up for game 2?
I'm not going to knock the mid-pudge too much. I'm not sure whether it's a factor that Satanael hasn't practiced with them, so they wanted to give him his hero, but I'm going to accept that aside. I think they need to try and consider their lanes a bit more. If they are putting the pudge mid, maybe don't pick the Clinks. I don't know about the Clink safe lane in that game, or maybe they needed to lane swap it or rotate into its lane or out of its lane earlier to start getting those kills, because just hard farming didn't manage to catch up to the item timings at the point they needed to be team fighting.
So do you think, even if they have that, you know, their X factor, which seems to be the position 4, Moop seems to be playing just something random, they click the random button, whatever comes up, that's what he's playing. But if they have a traditional carry to back it up, like a PL, like a Terrorblade, Anti-Mage, whatever you want to put in there, they might have a better chance.
Yeah, they could do. I don't think they want to play the long game against Oracle either, and I think the Moop's Viper pick that game was good. So unless they random troll again, I'm in support of their unusual 4 positions. I'm not a hater. But I think that that first game was pretty good. Like we looked at the start of the game as being in their favor, right? So the problem was when it fell apart in that mid game, and I think it's just a combination of the pudge. Like he did rotate, he did go for kills, but it's a sink or swim hero, right? There wasn't enough happening from the pudge rotations to keep that hero really earning its keep. And then that one fight in their jungle was such a disaster. They didn't even play it that badly. Like they managed to stop the immediate blink black hole with a Grimstroke ultimate into silence that really held things together for them. And they killed the Nature's Prophet, but ultimately they were just slightly overpowered. So hard to pinpoint any one gaping weakness other than the pudge pick maybe not fitting into the lineup very well. And I hope that in game 2 they just maybe roll the dice a bit better and maybe we see an upset.
Yeah, so maybe put Sentinel on something that's a little bit more, it doesn't fall off like a pudge does. I mean, maybe I'm sure he can play many different mid heroes and, you know, Lena's Storm, something like that. And if you can keep the control, which ToOnz Reborns were able to keep the control for the first 10 minutes, maybe they'll be able to do better with Oracles, because once Oracle gets the reins, they just run with it and run you down.
Maybe if they wanted to do something like last game, I'm assuming they put the pudge mid after seeing the Ember and realizing they wanted to put the Viper in the off lane against it. Surely Satanael can play Viper. Everyone can play Viper. Yeah. Just put him on that hero and then pick a different mid laner.
Oh, well, we're not going to have to wait for any of their picks because we're straight into Game 2's draft. And it seems like we're going down the same old path of the band situation. Lone Druid, Nature's Prophet, okay, a little bit different. Grimstroke, Viper, Slaughter, Embers. Everything's just coming out real quick. We're not wasting any time.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the bans from ToOnz Reborn, removing the Nature's Prophet. That was really the kind of thing that kept Oracle in the game and then slowly swung the advantage in their favor, removing the Ember as well. So just forcing them to pick something different. I said it last week, make them show you something else.
But they literally can't pick Punch anymore. It's gone. It's out of the pool. So Sentinel ain't going to happen.
Well, we'll see what Sentinel has. I'm sure there's more than one hero he can play. So looking forward to see what the second hero is.
Bring out the mid-techies.
Oh, I would love that, actually. I think that hero is legit.
It's pretty strong. Like, it's a good burst damage. It's surprising as long as you can get last hits, though. That's always sketchy.
If you had a mid techies instead of a mid pudge that game, I actually think ToOnz Reborn would have had a better chance. Like, consider how strong the creep wave push was from the Nature's Prophet and Enigma summons. That does not happen against the techies.
That's true. Stop giving positive points towards mid techies.
That's a real hero in Dota. You're allowed to pick it. I don't understand the stigma against explosive goblins.
We'll play a game after. I'll show you it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the game now is what we have to be concerned about, and we see the Cuddle ban as well. So ToOnz Reborn just determined to make sure Oracle do, in fact, have to show them something different. I mean, these are all very strong heroes. No one's arguing that they're ban-worthy, right? The Will of the Wisp is absolutely what won Oracle those fights.
That is true. Able to just dismantle whatever initiation they wanted, but they have left himself Oracle in the pool for the first pick. Oracle, but the first pick is going to be Jen. Oh, hey, Jen. Haven't seen this hero for a while. It's constantly banned.
Yeah, so that's a good sign. If a hero is constantly banned and then your team gets to first pick it, you're doing well already. But Quap, another hero, is very strong in the patch.
That's true. Good old burst damage. We'll be able to clear up those Chen creeps here, but it seems to be a little bit scary when you do first pick that Quap, though.
You certainly leave yourself open to being countered with the next 4 picks, but the thing is, the Quap is so versatile. You could play it, I think, in literally any position. Maybe 5th position Quap is worse than 4th position Quap, but that's semantics more than anything. You can send her to any lane. If they counter pick it in mid, put it safe lane, put it off lane, I'm not worried.
One situation that we did in week 1, they did put the safe lane Quap up against Kelvin's Timbersaw, and it kind of got dismantled.
But we actually expected Quap to take advantage of that matchup, right?
Yeah,
so
Growling.
Is that a problem with the lane, or is that a problem with Calvin being just godly?
Oh, don't say that when Timbersaw's still in the pool, though. You could just have the same situation, but Witch Doctor does kind of make it a little bit more difficult to run that Timbersaw.
I mean, yeah, exactly. They're kind of almost begging the Timbersaw pick here, right? Like, this is the lane that should destroy Timber. Reactive armor obviously makes you very stable against physical harassment, but with concentrated magical damage, you can bring the Timber down in the early game when he goes in for last hits. Quap constantly applying the slow means that Timber always has to be scared for his life, and that Maledict is the perfect way to multiply the damage dealt and finish him off in the early levels at least. Once you get maxed reactive armor, it's a bit trickier, because you usually do end up hitting him to try and charge the Maledict up, and the regen he gets back is so much it kind of counteracts things, but Void Spear is the hero they actually have to worry about.
Hell yeah. Little control to take him down. A fun hero to watch. Always good to see those real dynamic mid plays, and I believe Zemistry is somewhat a god on the man himself, so they've got some confidence second picking this man.
Yeah, Void Spirit and Quap is a matchup we're seeing more and more in the meta on the map, as these heroes are both very strong, potent playmaking mids, scaling cores as well. Like, they're strong early game out of lane, mid game in the team fights, late game as damage dealing carries. You can't ask for much more than that, and it's hard to even really know how you shut a Void Spirit down. His item build is so flexible, and he brings a good combination of mobility, control, and damage.
It's a scared creature, but right now we're banning normal heroes. We're taking the clinks away from ToOnz Reborn. Good physical damage is really nice against Chen, but speaking again, Timbersaw is also nice on Oracle, so neither hero is going to be played, but instead, they're picking up the Ricky.
That is one way to deal with the Void Spirit. The flat AoE silence, especially coming out of invisibility, can hold the Void Spirit in place, and his actual hit points are not that good before itemization. Obviously, if you go something like Ags BKB, you can shake it off, but that's already a long ways down the track, and Ricky can really give you problems before then.
That's right, a few more minutes, but Ricky is one of those heroes that does need his items, his lane to go well, his diffuser blade to come before, hey, you'd say what, 15 minutes or 20-minute mark. Do they leave an opportunity for Oracle just to crush this lane right now?
I mean, maybe if the Chen is in the lane, you could. But, I mean, Ricky is quite a stable laner as well. Obviously, Smokescreen is a very strong tool to discourage all-in commitment, and he's got mobility through the Blink Strike. We've got Vengeful coming in now to make the laning phase even stronger for Oracle.
A little bit more auras, a little bit more help in the pushing department. I'm seeing a Drow just float on in, or at least some kind of range here. Like, oh, maybe even a Luna. Go auras, go range, and just hit those towers and take the game.
10 seconds.
Oh, we actually saw the Luna Death Ball strat last week, right? It's very, very potent in the current patch. You have the option to go in the Aghanim Scepter as well, which will annihilate a hero like Witch Doctor. There is no way he can survive and contribute in team fights against that spell. Even when he's already, going to struggle to deal with Void and Vengeful, right? You've got to handle Swap. That's going to cancel your ultimate every time. Void Spirit will hunt you. You're starting to really put pressure on the Radiant supports and any other squishy heroes if you pick that kind of thing.
But right now, ToOnz Reborn, they've got to pick someone against it here. So they've got the fourth pick. It's going to be a Underlord, a fan favorite of yours at least. Does it work here?
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned Void Spirit. One of his main advantages is mobility. He does prefer to use that to sort of cover for his lack of hit points. Underlord with the Pit of Malice, it's an instant range disable, which is very important against movement abilities. But also, if you can combine it with other disables, such as the Cask or the Cloud, you're going to end up disabling someone for like 8 seconds plus with a single cast. And the Underlord, in a team where you've picked 3 very sort of paper heroes to start off with, Quap, Witch Doctor, Ricky, Underlord is the front line, right? Like, no one is moving past him in his pit without him noticing. So, good way to anchor your fight.
It's a good solid tower defense. Put the Firestorm down. They ain't going to do much. So really now, maybe Team Oracle, they need to change what they're doing with their draft here. They've got the Chen, the Venge, and a Void to make some plays. But what do you think here? You've seen the Underlord. Do you go away from the Lunas or the Drows?
You could just try and counterpick the Underlord in lane. There's certain heroes that really murder a sort of static laner like Underlord. He has no movement ability. He has no hard stun. He has no sudden nukes. There are certain lanes where he just can't enter the field because there's no way for him to come out ahead and he can be, zoned out of the lane. But they do go with the Luna. They opt for strategy over sort of laning phase advantage, which I don't mind.
It doesn't seem like the worst lane in the world. You got Loosen Beam, you got some extra range coming out from Venge, you got some extra armor coming out from Luna. It seems still pretty stable, even against Underlord, who is a strong laner himself.
Oh, by no means is this a bad lane, and I think between the Vengeful Spirit and the Luna auras, it'll be enough to offset the degen aura that the Underlord puts out that normally makes it difficult to contend his lane or last hit against him. And with +1 rotation, if the Chen cruises into that lane with the creep army, the Underlord will die. I don't think Venge and Luna have kill threat on the Underlord by themselves. Maybe if they can whittle him down a bit first. But it depends on what kind of support the Underlord gets in lane, which might be the last pick here for the Radiant. If it's not the Quap, I kind of think it might be Quap for position and they're sandbagging their mid pick.
It's ToOnz Reborn. It's Quap.
Moops Quap.
Necro's going to be the final ban. We're going to take out Shadow Fiend on the other side. So no Zemistry Shadow Fiend, but we need a mid lane. Actually, we got a Void Spirit here. Are we thinking Void's mid or off lane? Where are you from?
The Shadow Fiend ban seems to indicate that ToOnz think it's an off-lane Void Spirit, and this is the mid laner. But I think they might just leave the Void on Zemistry. I think picking it early is just they're relying on that uncertainty to try and bait ToOnz into picking something that doesn't counter Void Spirit for mid, and then they'll just put Zemistry there anyway.
Fair enough. And it's gonna be the Legion Commander. So the bait was successful. Kelvin's got his Legion, but they've got their
Yes! Let's go! Yes! We spoke it into existence.
Out of nowhere, it's mid techies. What?
Yep. Oh, of course it's mid techies.
Huh? That was okay. Okay. Well, what are you thinking? Can ToOnz Reborn take it with the mid techies? You were singing its praises.
Yeah. I am not myself a techies player, but just I feel like this hero gets underrated, right? It's been a meme for so long, and in Dota 1 it was it really was kind of a weird non-Dota hero. But ever since the skill rework, this is a legit hero. You can do great teamfight stun combos, nuke combos with it. It pushes out lanes like crazy. No. Let us not forget that Techies was largely responsible for Evil Genius's winning TI. Like, you must respect the threat of this hero. That was the old version of Techies. But I think here you've got a great choice, and it's going to really discourage the aura push that we're going to see come out of Oracle better than maybe any other hero could. Hopefully it's enough.
Well, I guess we'll find out. It's game 2 and they're bringing it. It was like, okay, well, ToOnz, Reborn, what are you going to do against Oracle? How are you going to beat them? They're going to go crazy and insane. Johto on a support co-op. Moops on an actual support hero. Like, he's playing a Witch Doctor. That's different.
Probably just player preference, right? Like, if Johto plays co-op in pubs or is familiar with co-op, then, you know, give him the co-op. Why not?
Yeah, keep it fresh if you can. Whew, this game is looking fresh, but while we're loaded on in, we'd like to thank another sponsor for bringing us LPL Season 2. WD Black, our sponsor from last season, is continuing to sponsor us in Season 2, bringing us the great actions and some great hard drive quality. If you're looking to pick one up, just pick one up. You can always go safe with WD Black.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess we're taking a short break before the game starts. So thanks for tuning in. May as well thank our other sponsor, of course, the New Zealand Defence Force, recruiting roles across the Army, Navy, and Air Force. You can check all that out at defencecareers.mil.nz. That's .mil.nz for all of that information. Thanks to all of our sponsors here in the LPL Pro League Season 2. It's important to thank them because, you know, they're responsible for this kind of quality that we're able to bring and, you know, to present the teams with those prizes. That land finals I'm so excited about coming up in Auckland.
Oh, yeah, that is coming up. But speaking of something coming up a little bit quicker, Mid Techies is coming in only after a short break.
Yes.
See it and see if it wins. Well, are you thinking that you've done something horrible? Do you think that ToOnz Reborn will just destroy, or just, you know, they will break Oracle with the bombs? Do you think they are going to be playing mind games here?
I think it'll take a lot to break Oracle, right? I'm sure this is, like, for none of these players is this their first Techies rodeo. But, you know, Saturnail played pretty decently on the Pudge. I think that if he's a Techies specialist, then you could have an edge here in this, right? There's a lot of squishy heroes on the Oracle side. You know, the Chen creeps, vulnerable to being blown up by mines as well. You can really decimate this push. And if you blunt that timing, I think there's underrated late game potential in the combination of heroes that ToOnz Reborn have, right? Like, heroes like Underlord actually scale very well.
And I was just thinking about it. Like, you'll talk about combinations. They've got some really dirty combinations. You put the Pitamel's down, you get the Techies jump on, Ricky jumps on right on after. You've already got the triple threat, and they're not too high HP heroes on the sides of Oracles. You can get some pretty easy pickoffs.
I mean, I think by that point they're already dead, right? Like, do you know how much damage the Techies blast off does? It's a crazy amount. Yeah, the real question is, how soon does Techies max that skill? And do we see Saturnail? You know, last game he played a very sacrificial role for a mid laner. Kind of started rotating really early, gave up a lot of personal farm, went for kills on the Pudge. It didn't end up working out, but it is a legitimate strategy. You can do the same thing with Techies, especially if you max that skill, get a really, like, disproportionately large, we're talking AoE Finger of Death type nuke going on, or do we see him skill the bombs, go into the jungle and focus on his own farm, so that by the time that you know, we do see this Oracle lineup, they are going to push and knock on your high ground sooner rather than later? Would you rather have, like, Blink Aghanims up on your Techies by that point?
Okay, well, a little bit slowed down. So when we're not seeing mid Techies, it's unfortunate. It's going to be mid Quap Johto second mid position for now. They're putting Saturnail on his name hero, so they're giving him the position for Techies. So something a little bit more safe. Do you worry that with more of, well, without the Techies getting prioritized here, that X factor that we like to see coming out from ToOnz Reborns might be a little bit lost?
I think the co-op can be your X factor. I think it's wrong to be sad that you are putting priority on your co-op mid, right? Like, this is as strong a hero as any in the patch. And the thing about Techies is you can easily get your farm anyway, right? Like, 4-position Techies is perfectly capable of doing what I just described, retreating from the lane into the jungle, farming up an item. It'll be a little bit slower, but I don't think disastrously so. And Techies is probably stronger in the side lane, right? Like, now you've got the Pit Lord route. Pit Lord doesn't always skill it early, but you might be tempted to, just to set up that massive blast off nuke and really make the Oracle safe lane worry for their health.
And the one thing you're pointing out too, when Punch stopped farming, he stopped scaling and it kind of fell off. You don't have this problem in this game, but right now you got a problem in the bottom lane where we've got the sun coming down to Ricky, already getting close to half HP, but it's the cast that saves today. They will be giving up the runes at least, but you don't give up the first blood.
Yeah, this is an interesting lane, right? If you do lead, okay, they're probably going to send Lord Boons away, I imagine, and maybe he'll roam into this lane to make ganks. But as you just saw, there's a lack of really long disable. The Venge needs to level up the stun, and even then it doesn't scale that much. You know, Luna only has the mini stun, Chen is dependent on the creeps, and for a mobile hero like Ricky who can dodge slow-moving projectiles like the Magic Missile or the Cask with his E and move around with the Blink Strike, it's going to be hard to catch him and kill him.
Yeah, it's true, but they are try-lining that situation. They're sending Luna down. It's going to be two heroes there. Johto, Zemistry. We haven't seen these players go up against each other. Also, it'll be a surprise to see what this game is, but the top lane, it's actually going to be a solo Legion this time. So they're going to be soloing up the Legion. So Santanel, he's going to tri-lane the tri-lane, but the first blood's already gone. Microphene, Godot, he's in the ground, but moves will not be traded. Verifies the paying off every single game right now, and Hales, lose yourself, he's going to run away. He's seen the techies, he's scared of techies, but there's some creeps, he can pick up some gold up. So first blood, back to ToOnz Reborn, but that was how first game went.
Yeah, absolutely. Moops offering the sacrifice of his courier instead, as now we see the blast off going, cutting away from the explosion. Extreme violence at the bottom lane.
You can't see it. It's disgusting, but
there's the
kill. Nonetheless, lose yourself, he's gone out of here. Do you want to swap these lanes now, or are you just going to TP right back on into it?
Yeah, it's interesting that they were so determined to dodge the Underlord lane that they moved the Luna to bot, but it is not really working out. Godot gets the kill back on Moops, but I mean, that doesn't really matter. Support on support action, definitely not as important as the Luna going down. And I don't even think Calvin is necessarily advantaged here in top.
No, he just seems to be farming fine. He's got the last hits going. The ESPX, he's having a comfortable time, but the tri-lane is where the action is gonna be. You're gonna see the fights coming up. Techies isn't there to just hang out and put a couple mines down there. He's there for blood. Ricky, can he deal with the tri-lane pressure?
Yeah, I think much better than the Luna, right? As I just said before, Ricky has tools to avoid getting chain stun. Luna does not. Very immobile hero, not a lot of health, not a lot of armor. Definitely, you know, capable of catching out that carry for Oracle and killing it, and that's great for ToOnz.
Yeah, well now, so it looks like Take's jumping on in, gonna be fine, and Godot can't sacrifice the Devil's Grief, so he'll sacrifice to the gods as ToOnz Reborn. In fact, they're gonna get a double. Lord Boons making it a double. Lose yourself, he's got to run himself down, but the stuns are going out of here, so we're putting an extra couple kills on the list. We're 4-1 again. ToOnz Reborn, they're off to a great start again.
Yeah, and this, I would say this is even better than last time, right? Last time they were winning the lanes, but there was a little asterisk because there was a Nature's Prophet farming the jungle, there was a Coddle stacking. The Oracle focus wasn't on the laning phase, it was on the economy outside of the lane and the eventual team push. This time, we're back to the classic of ANZ Dota, the tri-lane on tri-lane. That's where all the action is. This is... I don't want to minimize the effect of the other players, but this is the only lane that matters here at bot. This is where all the fighting will happen, and the team who decisively wins a tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario comes out so far ahead. I think they're very highly likely to win the game.
Yeah, it looks like Luna is, I wouldn't say having the greatest time in the world, but she's still got creeps in her town, so she can farm. Godot's going to help out there, but one thing that should be said is the XP is going to be split 3 ways here. Do you think Luna suffers more than the Ricky?
I think both of them want to get their ultimates, but it probably even is more meaningful to the Luna. I think the value points are more there for Ricky, just because, again, his skills offer him an amount of mobility and skill dodging that factors into these early trades. Also, the Luna wants to be able to level up and go and take stacks, and with the supports forced to engage constantly in the lane, there are no
going to
stacks.
survive now, but Belgic, he's going to take him off. Moves. He's going to be trained as well. The Magic Missile coming in. They give the kill to Luke yourself and Tech. He's half HP. Got to be careful. He's already jumped on in. In fact, they're going to be running down Ricky. He can't go in fist because he's not level 6, but he will be able to jump away to the safety of his trees. Maybe Sentinel will be sacrificed to Godot, who's actually taking some tower shots for it. In fact, Ricky's going to jump back in, check the Magic Missile. Actually going to put a bomb down, but nobody's going to be tripped in that one. Nice loose and beam, nice damage verifier coming. Chen, he needs to join this fight quickly if he can, but they're not going to lose these heroes. They're going to be very low HP. Techies probably is just waiting for another sack here, but the action just keeps on happening. The pressure isn't going down. There you go. Techies jumps out of nowhere. Whenever you see a half HP Techies, you know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Trades his life in, gets the deny, so because he dies to his own skill, no gold or experience going across to Oracle, putting in good damage on the Luna, and he'll soon be respawning and back to the lane. You can tell Satnail's played this hero a lot, right? That was some very fancy footwork amongst the trees and was close to turning that kill around. It's only that Oracle were very cautious and understanding and respecting the techies, though they did not step on that landmine placed near the tower and die.
I like watching techies just trying to zone people. It's mine's in a real zoner, but him just hitting there with, what, 30 damage, just chipping away at the bench. Okay, Ricky's going to try to actually do some damage here. Another jump on him, says now the mine's being placed now, but it's not going to be hit by anyone. Give the gold to Chen, but maybe they can get the gold back from the bench. Tricks are straight to the high ground. They will put Godot in his place, but it's the Melodic onto 2 here. Moves is doing some work, but he needs to get some damage on top. Can Ricky do it? Lucius going to be actually getting the Witch Doctor instead. Are these guys going to pop? The damage doesn't seem to be too much. No, they're absolutely fine. And Techies, he's going to run himself. He will survive, and now Ricky's versing 2. The one charge bait the entire time. Lord Boons knew what he was doing. Lose yourself running, nice little jump away.
Look for the blast off.
But we are good. Blast off is gone, but Godot is charging forward too, not giving them any kind of zone to get close to the Luna, who's already healing up himself, so he's absolutely fine. But Ricky is being kicked on back just out of the lanes, away from the creeps.
But he did get a kill out of there again. So this constant brawling, I think, is definitely favoring ToOnz, although it must be said that Ricky is a bit behind the Luna on gold. I'm not sure how that is. Maybe just more last hits going to the Luna.
Well, to be fair, Team Oracle have been giving the kills to the Luna. Like, they've been dedicating those skills to, in fact, the jump onto Venge here. The one-shot's going to get sent help. Yeah, lose yourself. He gets another. Ricky's going to be able to claim up the Venge now, but the Melodic onto 2 is going to be able to finish him off. Nope, it's going to die. Gives out, lose yourself. He's going to be TPing back to base. You can't cancel it to Ricky, and he's safe. A double kill from the Luna, and you're asking where the gold's coming from. That's exactly it.
Yeah, very interesting laning phase. Both of the carries in that tri-lane now on dominating streaks. So that first kill on Lucius self looked really promising for ToOnz, but it looks like since then, as now Jodo's suffering in the mid.
J-spot avoid. Zamistry got a haste, and he's just targeting right up for you. Oh, man. That shouldn't exactly happen, but speaking of the mid lane, it's 45-12 versus 26-3. It seems like Johto isn't too familiar with the mid matchup. Maybe he's not comfortable with the role too much.
I'm not going to flame anyone for losing mid to Zemistry. This is just what he does, like, seemingly every week. It's just an outskill. The doubling Quop's last hits nearly, getting that level 6. So it was a haste rune as well, so even more pressure on Johto. And this is what you do when you have quality players in your team.
In the Quop. Straight in the bottom to Melty on top that. Oh man, jumping forward, but Godot trying to save him, can't do it. Sonic Wave's going to go, but it's TP out with no cancel to go. Godot makes it out, but Lord Boons, he might be seen. No, another TP. He's back to safety. So everyone gets out, but you do get the big Luna. A whole bunch of gold, and there's your rotation coming out from Jones. So the rotations are coming early from ToOnz Reborn here. They're keeping some pressure onto Oracle.
Yeah, that was extremely necessary. Quop, as we just saw, having a bit of trouble in the mid lane, so great to go bottom and reinvigorate her game with a very valuable kill. Remember, Luna was on a dominating streak, and Johto picked up that kill money, so that will help the Quop, keep scaling and keep touch with Zemistry. More importantly, stay in front of the side lane so that she can continue to make those rotations and pick up kills. And of course, the Ricky maintains that kill streak. Now starting to catch up a bit on the farm. Before it was something like Luna had like 25 CS and Ricky had like 8, which I think is just a factor of being a ranged hero versus a melee hero on tri-lane.
Jump on through with Techies. It's a combination you've seen left and right, but Techies going to be sacrificed though, but Lord Boons is going to be taken out. Moves. It seems like always the supports are sacrificed just to give Ricky his kills, but can he survive? He's level 5. Quop is coming in, trying to help on out. There's gonna be at least a little bit of damage coming up for Quop, but is it enough? Bench is still alive here. Ricky can't jump to safety because Quop is on bow ground, but Zemistry is going forward with it to simulate, but he's got to run. He's got to charge. He's out of steps, so he can't get the kill there, but Microfeed, he will be traded. Godot's going, and some more gold for Johto. At least Ricky did die, and he was 4-0-4, so that's a big kill to get if you are Oracle.
Yeah, both carries now giving up their dominating streaks. I'm a little bit disappointed in Johto's Quop, I'm going to say. I feel like that was the wrong way to approach that situation. When he appeared on the horizon, standing on top of that high ground with the Ricky under duress like that and having already popped his tricks of the trade, I really expected the Quop to just stay on the high ground, and that way Ricky would have a target for Blink Strike. He could have gotten out of there. But Johto came down the hill, so when Ricky had his Blink Strike up, you saw him look to the easy creep camp. He was looking for something to get out of the fight by blinking to it, and he just didn't have a target, so... bit disappointing you get your carry killed like that.
A little bit of misplay there, but right now they're running everyone into the mines. In fact, Kelvin's coming down to join this party. He gets... Oh, Johto! We were talking up, but he brings it right back with an amazing Sonic Wave. Just killing 3 with the help of the techies. They will not be able to get Lucius up, but man, that team fight was amazing from ToOnz Reborn. Perfectly timed. Kelvin, he came down bottom for absolutely nothing, just giving the chill damage away. Oh, the tips are
Look at all the
worth it.
tips.
Radiant's middle tower
How
is
you
under
feel?
attack.
Yeah, that's I mean, look, I'm sure Calvin's not going to be like mentally crumbling after one death, but it's important for ToOnz, right? The morale of that play to just call out your opponent's play like that, just plain and simple. They knew what Calvin wanted to do on the Legion, and Johto teleported to bottom lane at the perfect time. Now snatches the double damage out from under the nose of the Legion commander. So this Clop is definitely hanging in there.
He's just messing with the Underlord, but as you pointed out, that man is basically unkillable. He's so fat, he just walk on back. But Underlord has been left alone in the top lane quite a bit, so he's going to be able to farm those items. Do you think he's just going to be picking up these, or actually, mid, gotta be careful, we have Johto playing it safe. This man has actually been picking up. He's had a little bit of shaky time in the early to mid, but he's really brought it. He's got some good old game sense, just knowing when to go in and when to just get on back.
Yeah, look, apart from getting outlaned by Zemistry on Void Spirit, which again, I think you get a free pass on that, he's been pretty good at playing. I think that there was that just one rotation. You can tell that a player is losing mid and feels pressured to make things happen in the side lanes instead because he rotated without Sonic Wave. But you saw the 2 rotations when he did have the ultimate, how much of a difference that made. So, you know, I'm sure as we move into the mid game, we're going to see him continue to do well in fights as Boons goes down to the Underlord. ESPX having just a ball game out here on the Underlord.
Johto making it happen. He is making these rotations, and that's what we were pointing out before. Sentinel in game 1 had a hard time making these rotations to keep a gold lead going, but this time it seems much easier for ToOnz Reborn to just bring it to Oracle. It's a 1k gold lead to them. Zemistry can't kill this Underlord. He's got so much HP and he doesn't do any damage to him. ToOnz Reborn, they should be feeling pretty comfortable at it. Their lanes are going absolutely fine.
Yeah, they did a really good job. The trail lane at bottom, even if the Luna end up getting more CS there, I'd still argue it benefited ToOnz just by stopping the supports from getting stacks ready. So Luna is not going to be able to fall back into the jungle, I don't think, and you know, just sort of pick up that huge bag of money that's normally lying there on the ground for her, you know, courtesy of the supports. So we see Zemistry at the top lane having to defend the tower, basically pinned there. This is the time in the game where you would want your mid Void Spirit, who dominated mid lane, to do what the Quap's doing, rotate to the side lanes and just get free kills with those huge nukes that Zemistry can lay out. Instead, he has to stand here and just constantly shield this tier 1 as the only hero he can't kill, the Underlord, just smashes into it over and over again with the lane push.
Well, Team Oracle, they will be doing the lane push, taking a tier 1 in the bottom lane before the creeps have got. They're going to lead you with Necronomicon, so that kind of helps selling out. You got a Chen, but that's kind of what Chen does, but moves. He's going to get some action. He does get a cast, can't get a Maledict off yet. In fact, the swap is going to be a little bit awkward there, but it does save him for now. Maledict on back to Sonic Wave again, but it's dodged by Zemistry. There's no Maledict on him, but it's a Maledict on Kelvin, but they're going to be chasing down Sentinel for an easy duel if they can get it. But ESPX, he came on down. He got the pit of Mels between him. Kelvin's running back. He's still got one more pit of Mels, so they can see him pretty low. He's going to purge off the Shadow Strike, but he knows he's dead. But it swaps from on a massive. They may just keep him alive. The stun back on Ricky. They can go back on him. Zemistry takes him out. ESPX, he's left lonesome. He's got to run back, and they don't even get the kills they wanted. The bait from Oracle there. Kelvin so low. Godot even lower, but no kills back for ToOnz Reborn on that one. Playing it just perfectly enough, but man, ToOnz Reborn, they are responding fantastically to these fights, these Melodic combinations with the Sonic Wave. They know their combinations. The one thing they do have to be careful about, though, is that to simulate, Zemistry just knew exactly when to use it.
Yeah, that was pure skill differential coming in that team fight, right? Like, ToOnz Reborn didn't really make that many mistakes, but when you see one team able to outplay another, that's what it looks like. Just very small microseconds where a little bit of individual brilliance is able to create a gap, whether it's Zemistry dodging large skills on that Void Spirit and staying alive to continue pumping out the damage, or you saw the Rikimaru there, overcommitted, looking for the kill on the Legion commander. First the swap, got her out of melee range immediately, and then with Rikimaru still having a blink strike charge up, the Legion just kind of weaved in and out of the trees. Calvin broke vision, and then they got the dust off to turn and kill the Riki, and that was the fight right there. It could have gone bad even then for Oracle.
Speaking of stacks, well, turns out they did have one camp stack, and it's the most important one. It's a Triple H stack. So now lose yourself with the help of the Helmet Dominator. He is just running these creeps down, getting the farm up. Top 3, all Oracle. Gotta be careful, this gold lead is building again. It was a little bit slow before, but ToOnz Reborn, they need to put the foot on pedal? Like, try and stop this Luna from farming? What's their move here?
I think you do need to go, right? They have the strength, thankfully. They are able to contest fights, so I think you definitely need to do that now. Luna will out-farm your team. Rikamaru cannot possibly keep up with this. Pitlord, Underlord is not enough of a carry to keep up with this either. The Helm of the Dom Luna will overrun the game unless you lose yourself right now.
Well, Sentinel's putting some mines in their jungle, maybe to stop him when eventually he goes back to farming. But right now, we're pressuring the mid, we're getting the runes. At least Arnold's able to claim the top 2. Looks like Oracle, they're going to be claiming the bottom 2, but Zemestree playing really aggressive in this jungle right now with the help of Lawrence Boons, Luke Self, Kelvin, everybody in the same area. They're taking map control away from ToOnz Reborn. They're taking a gold away from ToOnz Reborn. Johto isn't going to be able to hit many creeps soon because Ricky, he's taking some, at least ESPX, he's pressuring the top tower, but that gold isn't going to mount to much. The Diffuse Blade still isn't here yet, and Ricky's hitting a couple jungle camps.
Yeah, this is where you see the difference between Ricky and Luna, right? Having that stack made up, I feel now a little bit sad that I seem to have cursed ToOnz. I didn't think there was a stack for the Luna, but we were revealed there was an ancient stack ready, and now she's so far ahead of the Ricky despite their success in the trailing.
I'll swap back in on Arnold with the silence as well. It doesn't matter how big he is, he will still fall, and with the duel, you get the damage on top. ESPX sent back to base. Sentinel, he jumped in, but he was stuck. It didn't matter. He's dead. He's gone. It's nothing. No extra damage for you. Mega to double out of nothing. Mega tower coming out. You got the Helm Dominator. You got the entire base heroes around you. Oracle feeling super comfortable, and this is what we're worried about in game 1. Once they go and take control of the game, it seems like they won't let up.
Yeah, one miss, like I said, before the match even started, Zemestree had the double damage rune there, on top of now the double damage aura coming out of Luna. Both the Helm of the Dominator and the Dominated Creep, that Alpha Wolf, provides flat damage to the entire team. And that's why we saw ESPX suddenly explode, where before he was very tanky on the Underlord. That's only going to get worse over time. All of these auras stacking up as you get levels across the whole Oracle squad and their gold lead increases. They're going to have to try and defend high ground with this techies, but I don't know whether dragging the game out even benefits ToOnz.
Oh, I guess we'll find out. They're going to be cutting creep waves. Johto's cut the mid wave, so you can't push that lane in. He's going to be cutting the top wave, so you can't push that wave in. But Oracle go right bottom and try and push that one. But Zemestree already found Johto with a nice combination. He's just dead. That was so quick, he could not even react. Kelvin, okay, you hit a few mines, but maybe they want to fight. The Sentinel's going to jump on in, but they're baiting it at this point. Woodboon's waiting. Lose Yourself is there as well. He does have a clip to run. The Melting is on this Legion, but Kelvin doesn't even care. He wants you to fight him. ESPX has absolutely no damage up in the Firestorm with a bit of Malice, and that moves with the Death Ward. He's popping it on the high ground, so he can't really stop it, but it's not really hitting too much. There's your Eclipse. There's your Underlord. There's your dual damage, and he is out of here, and Oracle are chasing you down. You put a couple mines in between them, but it doesn't even stop them. They've got creeps to tank them. Lose Yourself is going to be taking a whole bunch of it. Have a Maledict on the backside. Well, Boons, okay, you're getting the Chen, but there's much more scary things to go. There you go. Sonic Wave, a little bit of damage on the back. Kelvin, he's moving on forward. They've got the Blade back on the quad, but the damage ain't enough, and he is out of here. Lose Yourself is going to take it. He's having to kill himself if he gets some extra gold on top, and 10k is looking massive. The base is looking a little bit flimsy as Oracle just run up the high ground and pressure your tier 3s before the 20-minute mark. Ricky is still alive, though. Maybe he can defend it.
I think that after what we saw game 1, if ToOnz Reborn are the kind of team to call things early, they might just call it here, I'll be honest. That fight there at bottom lane is very much a we've given up fight to me. Heroes just blinking in, using their spells and dying without any real plans, and I think the last strand of resistance we saw there, that little bit on the high ground with the Death Ward and the Pit of Malice, we saw all 3 heroes for ToOnz lay down these skills, Death Ward, Pit of Malice, Techie's Mines, that require Oracle to run into them, and Oracle simply didn't because there was no reason to. Out on the open map, these skills are not as effective.
Okay, jumping up Sentinel with Pit of Malice, with a little damage from Ricky on top. Is enough kill cover? No, Death Ward on the back, he's going to be jumping away, but Ricky is committing right now. There's no sentry place down there, but they place it down right on after, but Ricky's going to make up. He's looking all right, but they're going to put the Underlord in his place. 44 seconds, no buyback on the man himself. Oracle, they did get repelled, but the question is, for how long? 20 minutes coming up. Maybe that's enough to get a little bit of space, but it doesn't seem like there's too many paths back to victory for ToOnz Reborn.
Yep, just the one path that always exists when you have a techies in your team. which is that your techies furiously mines your base like a mad person, and then you wait for the enemy team to make a mistake.
He's not level 6, he doesn't have him. But at least he didn't skill it.
What?
Oh, dude. That's scary. They can take Roche, they can do high ground, there's no mines there. At least level 20, get a turn, but actually swap on in. Go off, gonna find moves, gonna find Sansanelli, jumped in, but all he did was deliver them another old kill. So 2 dead, both are buyback. You've got the Aegis on your side, you've got some creeps going in. Zemetry is very, very, very low. He got mined up, but he's steeping out. Sonic nice stun saving him. Godot. What a save! The Sonic Wave would have done it, but Johto leaves empty-handed.
Under attack.
I mean, again, that's just, we're seeing right there, that's the difference between these two teams. It is 0.15 of a second of QoP cast time, less. Like, if that Sonic Wave goes off, you kill Zemistry, that's a big win. And all of these team fights have been decided by these tiny factors like that.
No, leave me on the wall alive. Just for a second, please. Jump on in for Techies. He's half HP. Do you want to duel somebody? No, you're not even dueling Techies. You don't even want to moves. He TP's in just a Melodic Deathwatch. He's giving his life away just for a chance. Eclipse is coming out. Underboard is taking it all in for himself. That's a big man himself, but he will give the kills away. Anyway, 3 dead. Buyback on the Witch Doctor, but Oracle, they're in your base. They don't even care about the towers anymore. They're just looking for the Ricky. They're looking for the QoP. They're just running them down. There's your play mail. They baked it out. Legion is so low, but does he even care? He's still healing up. He's got the damage. They've got the loose beam. Zemish's going to come in and finish off Johto anyway. GG is going to be called, and Oracle take a decisive 2-0 victory against the ToOnz Reborn squad. See you later, nerds.
Yep. I have a feeling we'll be saying those words a lot, so we hope you like to hear them. Oracle smashing their way, continuing their top-of-the-ladder run, and making another statement victory over, look, some improved resistance from ToOnz, even with the stand-in. You have to give them credit for those games.
That is true. They played really well. Johto, we say, okay, he had a little bit of a flaky landing stage, but he brought it. The Sonic Waves were good. The team fight combinations, when they were on, on their level, when they wanted to take the fights, went really well. It just seems to be that mid-game transition. Once you allow Oracle a little bit of space, they just take everything you got and even more.
Yeah, as we take a look at our net worth and experience graphs here, look how long they stay level for. The whole laning phase and even like, okay, I say how long. This is a 20-minute game. So until 15 minutes, for 75% of the game, the team's virtually even. And it comes back to what we said. One mistake, right? Because Team Oracle are always playing optimally, are always like playing into their strengths. They had that Luna stack up, even in the difficult tri-lane situation. Someone snuck over and got their up. So when they got their opportunity, they quickly grabbed all that gold and they made their push. And that's all it takes, unfortunately.
Yeah,
well, fortunately for Oracle.
Well, yeah, Oracle having a fantastic performance, and they just dominated ToOnz Reborn, but they will be back in another week, so we'll be looking forward to see to them, but we'll be right back with some more action here at the LPL just after this short break. And we are back after that short break, and after that amazing game for tonight, Oracle really proven to be just the top team, at least currently in this league against ToOnz Reborn. They were just so comfortable in every single aspect of their gameplay. I can't really fault them again.
Yeah, it's classic sports journalism, right? You look at the scoreboard, that's what you can't argue with. And Team Oracle, we could go on and on about their credentials. Every player brought something to that series that was unique and necessary. All the little individual plays they made, I try to describe some of them in the moment, but the thing that you need to know is that this team delivers on quality consistently in every aspect of their game, their draft, their overall strategy, their individual second-to-second tactics. They are the team to beat, I think.
That is true, and if after a 2-0 victory, I believe these guys, they're going to be on top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up their first position here.
Yeah, so you see they're 4-0. Crossfire also 4-0. They won last week and this week have the bye. So that puts them up to 4-0 already. Pretty lucky for them. And if they can keep delivering, they'll be able to match Oracle in the weeks to come. But we have two more games tomorrow night.
That's right. I was about to say, week 2 tomorrow is looking pretty good. AGN versus Need Up Eternal Discord versus the debut of FFY V2.
Yeah, FFYV2, we say debut because last week they were the team with the bye, so we actually have not seen them play yet. They didn't even play in previous seasons of the LPL Pro League, so they are a complete enigma as far as this league is concerned. Going to be an interesting challenge for internal Discord.
That's right, Internal Discord, they always bring that extra flair to their games, but speaking of extra flair, AGN always bringing those interesting plays, crazy drafts, Farnsworth, amazing in the mid, and they're going up against a real top contender himself, Neat Uprising.
Yeah, a rematch of last season's grand final, if I'm not mistaken, and AGN themselves, getting there by displaying that X factor that you mentioned and getting an upset win in semifinals over Crossfire. So hopefully they can bring that same energy and maybe improve on the results from the last time they played the Neats. But all the praise that I applied to Oracle just then applies to the Neats as well. They're going to kind of be under pressure to also move to 4-0 and keep pace with their rivals, it looks like.
That's right. All these games do count. They're just as important. 4-0. You don't want to let that lead go up too far ahead if you can. And tomorrow night, it's looking pretty amazing here at LPL for Season 2. But always, we like to thank the sponsors that bring us this great season of Dota. Vodafone, WD Black, the New Zealand Army, and Kanoka, our monitor partner as well, just helping us here at LPL. But that is it for tonight. And we'll be seeing you guys here 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time for LPL Day 2. We'll see you then.